everybody, so face reveal video is coming out, should be coming out real soon, but in the meantime I plan to make a 1,000 subscriber Q&A, so you guys can leave any questions you have in the comments below. We'll look through those. But today we are going to be talking about the LDY Frank P and my more in-depth thoughts on it. I want to make sure that my thing is still recording because last time I tried to record this, it shut off on me, which was not fun. But yeah, so this is the LDY Frank P. I want to start off by saying I was sent this for free for the purposes of reviewing, but all thoughts and opinions are my own. The only thing that LDY has requested I talk about is that they are hosting a flipping competition. It'll be from November 25th to December 24th. All you have to do is post on Instagram, use the hashtag, their hashtag, I believe it's LDY 2024 competition, and then invite them as a collaborator. If you want to know more specifically the details, you can go check out their Instagram page, LDY Competition. It's got the specific rules on it, but yeah, they're going to be giving away 50 Balisongs, so I would highly encourage you to try out for it, even if you don't think you're very good at flipping, because that's the only way to get better. But now, let's talk about the Frank P. Now, when it comes to my thoughts and opinions on the Frank P, some things have changed, but a lot of things that I found in my initial unboxing are still true. I still think that this is a very good Balisong. I still think it's really solid. And if I had to sum it up in one sentence, I would say that the Frank P is plastic that feels like metal. Now, let's unpack that. What do I mean by that? Goodness me, I keep dropping it. So, in terms of the weight, does it have the weight of metal? No. It is lighter than any metal Balisong that I've had experience with. However, it is hefty enough and balanced properly so that this doesn't give you any form of squiddy syndrome. In fact, I can go between the Frank P and any one of my metal Balisongs with no issues in terms of, oh, okay, well now I need to adjust to something heavy again. It allows me to just go from flipping something like Volt Pro, just because it was out, right back to the Frank P with no adjustment period. And I think that is actually something really huge in a plastic Balisong. I think that's one of the biggest downsides to the squiddies. You can flip really well on a squiddy. I'm sure you guys have seen clips online. But the problem is you really have to adjust to the squiddy. And once you've adjusted to the squiddy, you can't just pick up a normal Balisong and get right back to it. You then have to readjust to a normal metal Balisong. But the Frank P doesn't really have that issue. It's weighted heavy enough and balanced in a way that you can flip this and then go right back to metal Balisongs like nothing happened. And I did just want to mention, I was calling metal Balisongs normal, but they're not, you know, don't think that if you only have a plastic Balisong, that's not a good Balisong. It's just normal. I called it normal because that's what most of the community uses. But yeah, so the Frank P isn't weighted as heavy. It is made of plastic, so obviously it doesn't feel like metal. But when it comes to the construction and the build quality of the Frank P, that's where I feel like it's really up there with metal Balisongs. When I'm flipping the Frank P, I don't get the sense that I'm flipping something flimsy. You know, I don't get that kind of vibe, even though I typically do get that with plastic Balisongs. Now, this is running on washers, so the tune, yeah, you're going to have some play, because that's just kind of the nature of washers. But that's not really a big deal, because this is plastic, so you're going to have tap regardless. The tune was better out of the box when this was oiled, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, the tune is really good. It's really solid. I think the biggest thing is that even if it has that little bit of play, you can't feel it while you're flipping. Now that could have something to do with the fact that, oh, well, it's plastic, so the movements of the not perfect tune is canceled out by the movements of the plastic, so you just interpret it all as the plastic kind of bending. You know, something like that could be true, but that's not really what it feels like. It just feels really solid, as if this was like a well-tuned bushing Balisong. Obviously, it's not that, and there are aspects that you can tell it's plastic, but I really like the way that it feels. It feels really solid, like a really good product. And then the fact that it's only $33, I think, is astonishing. I mean, getting this level of build quality at such a price point, I think, is insane. But the last aspect, let's talk about some grip, because I want to address the complaints that I had in the unboxing. So when it comes to the grip, I just talked about it having very little grip, pretty much none, in my unboxing, and it being super slippery. And I said, hey, maybe there's just some oil on the handles, because it kind of felt like there was oil on the handles. Well, it turns out that was true. My Frank P did have oil on the handles, and I suspect that if you buy one, there's a chance it'll have oil on the handles too. It's not anything to worry about. It's just that they oil the pivots before they ship it, and pretty much 9 out of 10 times, if a company oils the pivots before they ship it to you, that oil will end up on the handles. It's not the company's fault. It's just the way things go. So I haven't oiled it since then because I don't want to risk the oil going on the handles, because when there is oil on the handles, they are super slick and really hard to grip. When there's not oil, it's really not that bad. It is just kind of a plastic, but it does have decent grip, and I would even dare to say that this has more grip than anodized aluminum would have without cutouts. I do believe that. But I think the grip could be better. I think that if LDY was to put some kind of texturing finish on the surface, or some kind of cutout, I think that would really help with the grip. One thing I would think is even these little inserts here, I think if they were just moved up here, or if they were put on the sides, I think that would add just enough grip to make this a lot better. Because to be honest, I'm not really sure why they have the inlays where they do. So the inlays are the little faces of Frank, but I feel like you can't see that from far away. You certainly can't see that while it's flipping. So you just kind of see this inlay in the middle of the handle, which maybe if you're a non-flipper, that looks good and aesthetically pleasing. But I feel like to me, and probably other flippers, it's way more aesthetically pleasing to have cutouts up near the top, just because we know that that has function. There's a reason for those cutouts. Versus these inlays, I look at them and I go, why is that there? It's purely aesthetic. It's not adding any form of grip to the Balisong. And I think that Balisong people, we don't tend to like that, because it's then just adding cost for the sake of vanity. And yeah, we like our Balisongs to look good, but sometimes, you know, if you feel like, well, if you want to have this design, maybe put it somewhere else on the Balisong so that it's going to be aesthetically pleasing and functional. But, you know, it is plastic and it's $33, so it's not a massive complaint that I have when it comes to the grip. I honestly think that for the price, this thing flips very well. I think that the design of it is cute. I like Frank's little face. He actually kind of reminds me of the Android. Their little character that they have. I don't know if you guys get that vibe too. But I am very thoroughly impressed with this Balisong. That is something I want to get very clear. I think that LDY has done a fantastic job here. And I think that the community at large is very fortunate, not just for LDY and Balisongs like the Frank P, but just the fact that they have such a wide selection of cheap beginner Balisongs that are good. You know, I think if you look back to Will and Brandon's first Amazon unboxing video, that is the level of stuff that existed when I started flipping. But even back then, you know, that stuff I feel like it wasn't widely known that that stuff was good, especially as a beginner. There wasn't like a massive community the way there is now, where it's like super easy for a beginner to come into the community, ask for a recommendation, and get like 20 different Balisongs to pick from. And I think that's absolutely wonderful. I think that the growth the community has gone through in the last couple of years has been insane, and I'm very thankful for that. But would I recommend this Balisong? Well, this is basically now my new public flipper because it flips well. I can actually do basically any trick on it without issues. Yeah, sure, there's some grip related things which could be better, but I do think, especially if you had like some moisturizer on your hands or you were in a more humid climate than where I am right now, I think that it would be better. But with that being said, if you live somewhere with a dry climate, it would probably be worse. But do I recommend this? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. If you're looking for something like should be TSA approved, a good public flipper, you just want plastic, you like the design, any of those reasons, I would buy the Frank P. You know, even if you're a Squid Industries fanboy, I will tell you, this is cheaper than a Squiddy, it flips better than a Squiddy, there's no reason to get a Squiddy. And I don't mean that in any disrespect to Squid Industries. I think they're a lovely company as well. I just think this is better. And I'm all about saving you guys money and getting you the best products in your hands. I think the Frank P is one of the best plastic Balisongs, and it is by far the best plastic Balisong in its price range. Sorry, guys. That would be my laundry being done. But yeah, I would say that I definitely recommend the Frank P. I think it is a wonderful Balisong worth purchasing. Yeah, so I don't know how often they're in stock, but if you're able to grab one, I would definitely recommend it. That's pretty much all that I wanted to cover. My thoughts really haven't changed too much because it is such a solid product. It makes it almost tricky to make a video like this talking really in depth about it because it's just good. You know, it's good. You should buy one if you can. But that's basically all that I wanted to say, guys, and I hope that you've all had a wonderful day, and until next time, I hope that you all keep flipping.